is black magic from my mom. Be innovative, yeah, that's what she taught me. Create the colors, make a masterpiece. And don't you worry what them haters think. Just take your time with it. You a boss, you a queen, you a diamond. Don't you be afraid of your ego. Wear it like a promise, this is your show. This is a black girl nation, a black girl creation, a black girl song for a black girl generation. Standing in the gold of our ancestors, claim it. Got the magic flowing through our veins, you can shame it. Name a better species in the game, you can name it. Black girl nation. Our backs to the story of history on the spines. We make up the cosmos, we make us up in kind. Don't know who you mess with, you better step aside. These black girl aesthetics is spin to blow your mind. We're so divine with it. Change the game, switch up the roles, put the shine in it. And don't you be afraid of our ego. Welcome to the planet, this is our show. This is a black girl nation, a black girl creation, a black girl song for a black girl generation. Spinning in the gold of our ancestors, claim it. Got the magic flowing through our veins, you can shame it. Name a better species in the game, you can name it. Black girl nation. We live in a world where they don't want us to be alive. Sometimes it gets hard to be yourself, let alone to thrive. But this is a message to remind you who you truly are. Just sending up the sun, the lightning in the stars. This is a black girl nation, black girl creation. We're lighting in the stars. Remember who you are. This is a black girl nation, black girl creation. We're spinning in the gold. This black girl magic flow. This is the black girl nation, black girl creation. We're lighting in the stars. Remember who you are. This is the black girl nation, black girl creation. We're spinning in the gold. This black girl magic flow.
From a different continent, I packed a bag in confidence. I didn't come for compliments, oh no. A couple decades working late, 100 no's, 100 fails. That's what it takes to elevate someone. And now I use the high IQ to get the check. Don't spend it on some stupid kitty flex. I prove nothing to no one but myself. Now I'm looking inside me and I love what I see. I'm a grown fucking woman and I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'ma keep it moving and I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm a grown fucking woman. I'm a grown fucking woman. Honey, honey, I'm a grown fucking woman. Don't talk while I'm trying to talk. Still the time to get it right, to plant the seeds and get them right. But finally I'm outgrowing all my growing pains. Every insecurity is fading out cause I see the full me. And she was worth the wait. Now I use that high IQ to get the check. Don't spend it on some stupid kitty flex. I prove nothing to no one but myself. Now I'm looking inside me and I love what I see. I'm a grown fucking woman and I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'ma keep it moving and I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm a grown fucking woman. I'm a grown fucking woman. Honey, honey, I'm a grown fucking woman. Don't talk while I'm trying to talk. I don't bother bully, need my head 100. Got a business fun and hits a cutter on my own republic. No, I can't relocate on my philosophy precludes me from being a fake. Call me Draco and I slither in a make door. Scars gouged by the double-headed eagle. I'm bound when the rednecks kill my ego. Vision, I got vision, they don't see the shit I'm seeing. But in the end, that's what separates the girls from the women. I'm a grown fucking woman and I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm a grown fucking woman. Don't talk while I'm trying to talk. Don't talk while I'm trying to talk. Talk while I'm trying to talk. Don't talk while I'm trying to talk.
I'm the source, stay the course, for revolution. The teacher, I know my worth. I'm evolution, no ego. Where we go, always grow. Yeah, we know, and I know that it blows your mind. Yeah, it blows your mind. How do I do it? So effortlessly. How do I do it? In my sleep. How do I do it? You know that it comes from within. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I was built for greatness. I was built for greatness. And I keep rising up, rising up, rising up, rising up. I got the power, 'cause I was built for greatness. Greatness, greatness, greatness. I'm the ruler, I'm the giver, I'm the leader. Yeah. I'm the dreamer, I'm the future, I'm the keeper. Yeah. You never see me without my crown. I go high when they try to bring me down. And I know that it blows your mind. It blows your mind. How do I do it? So effortlessly. How do I do it? In my sleep. How do I do it? You know that it comes from within. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I was built for greatness. I was built for greatness. And I keep rising up, rising up, rising up, rising up. I got the power, 'cause I was built for greatness. La 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 Cause I was built for greatness. I was built for greatness. Rising up, rising up, rising up, rising up. I got the power, 'cause I was built for greatness.
Welcome back to this channel, everyone. It's your resident internet psychic medium and spiritual advisor, Mystic Rain. How you guys doing? Welcome or welcome back, and welcome to those of you that are catching the replay. How you guys doing? All right, you know the drill. Let me know. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Is the tech all good? Hey, I'm assuming that that's a thumbs up, yeah? Can you see and can you hear me? How was your week? I think I said weekend before. How was your week? It is Wednesday. How are you guys doing? Has it been good to you? Have you been good to it? I should probably start asking you guys. Awesome. Awesome. Hey guys, how you guys doing? My week has been good. It has been very busy, but it's also been very good. Have I ever showed you guys my little tea set that I be drinking out of? I showed you guys that, right? I'm just so proud of it. But no, my week has been good. It's been super, super busy. You know, my muggle life has been lifing, but that's okay. I've also am working on some new creative projects and working on like getting proposals and things like that finished. So I have been double booked this week, but all blessings. I got a book update. So I spoke to my editor this week and was told that the book is now in a fact checking phase, which to be honest, I didn't know existed. Okay, so here's the thing about this whole publishing thing. You guys know that this is my first go at it, right? And so because it's my first, and I also don't have a team, so there's no agent, there's no manager or anything like this. So every time something happens, it's my first time. It's my first time hearing about it. It's my first time learning about it. It's my first time even understanding that it's like a thing. And so my editor was like, yeah, so it's in fact checking. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. Duh. Like, of course it would do that, you know? Not that I have an issue with it. I think it's like so funny that you're going to fact check like tarot stuff. Go for it. It is nice because it's like, well, at least people know that I'm not like pulling things out of my ass. But it's just so funny how I was like thinking about it now. I'm like, there would be a fact checking phase, but because I knew nothing about the process and I'm learning as I like go through the process, I just didn't know. Right. So I felt surprised yet silly for feeling like surprised that that's like a thing, but it's a thing apparently. And so that is the phase that it is currently in now. Plus I got some new ideas cooking for additional books, possibly some decks. And so I'm working on these things, bringing those things into reality. I did quickly want to do just a recap on the book I like was so excited about a couple of weeks ago, because I feel like some of you like reached out. This one, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hayes. Some of you reached out and was like, oh, I've seen that book, but I never like went the extra step to go pick it up. So I wanted to give my review, not my recommendation, but my review. So here's the thing about this book. This is a book that I cannot recommend. And the reason why I can't recommend it is because I don't think that that would work. Something about the way that it's so heavily spiritual of a book that you have to be drawn to the book. Because when you read it, you will be prompted to like heal. There's something so simple in how it's written, but it's definitely meant to like trigger and dig up old things in order for it to come to the surface, in order for you to heal. If you are not in that place of life, the stuff in here will either go right over your head or it'll trigger you to the point where you just don't want to read it anymore. But you have to be in like a certain place in order like to like be down with it. It has to like call to you. If you feel called to it, or if you feel like you've seen it around a lot, but like you just never went that extra step to go pick it up and things like that, then like, yeah, you probably should look into it. But I couldn't recommend it to you because it's only going to help you if that is where you're at in your life, if that makes sense. Like you have to be in a place in life where you're ready to take care of these things, where you're like ready to heal your life in order for the book to do you any good. With that being said, I love it. It has taken me 2 weeks in order to read it. And the reason why it took 2 weeks is because it's triggering. It's triggering in the best way. It's like a trigger with love kind of thing, but you're going to read it. And if you're going to read it and like properly absorb it, you're going to heal. You're going to have to change. Like I don't really see another like way around it. And because of that, I don't know if I would recommend reading it all in one go. I think the book is simple enough to be read in all in one go, but it just brings things up that you should probably read like 1 or 2 chapters at a time and then like go to bed. And then like when you wake up, you're going to feel different. You're going to have different realizations. Things are going to be coming to the surface, like stuff like that. And so, and then you're going to have to like deal with that. And so it's going to take a minute to get through the whole thing just because like you're healing. So it took me 2 weeks because that's what was happening. Like I remember reading one chapter and I was like, I totally got it. Like, this is for newbies. Like this is not really talking to me. I don't really need this. And then I like went to bed and woke up and was like, oh my God. like all of these things started to come up. So I was like, ah. And then I had a manic moment. You guys know how I do when I start shopping, where there was a sale on Amazon and it was something like buy two, get one free or something like that. So I bought all the books that I could buy for. And then honestly, all of these came out to like $35 and I thought it was a steal. So I went with it. So we've got the Heal Your Body, because I was just like, we're healing everything. We've got the Love Your Body. We've got the Power Within You. And then we've also got the Love Yourself, Heal Your Life workbook. What I can say is one of these books was actually a redundancy. I didn't know. The Heal Your Body is actually already in this book. It's at the back. And it was broken out into like sort of like a smaller separate book. But I didn't know that at the time. I just saw a deal and I liked sales and I was just like, great. And so I bought it. Either way, I still find them really useful. This one I like because this one has the spiritual reasons for why you have certain physical ailments in your body, right? So for example, like this page, it has like anxiety, apathy, appendicitis, and then like excessive appetite or loss of appetite. If you have things going on with your arms, your arteries, arthritis, asthma. And then even in asthma, it's like broken up, like babies and children, right? Athlete's foot, back. And then the back is broken into like, is it a spinal misalignment? Is it the lower back, the middle back, the upper back? So it's all broken out in this like list. And it's like all of these spiritual reasons for why you may be having like pain in the body. So when I first got it, I did it because I like to finish collections, right? But then eventually what ended up happening is that I would have like an ache. And then I was like, wait a minute, hold on, where is my book? And I don't know, for me, it helps. It's like super helpful. And the things in it like really resonate, you know? Like, for example, I just lost the page. Okay, well, we'll go with someone else. This page has bulimia on it, bunions, burns on it. If you have buttocks problem, calluses, even cancer is on here, canker sores, car sickness, carpal tunnel, laryngitis, leprosy, like, I mean, liver problems. Like, I mean, it's pretty intense. And so it gives you a spiritual reason. This, by the way, is not to replace a doctor, right? But it gives you a spiritual reason. And then it also gives you like an affirmation in order to correct it, that you're supposed to repeat to yourself. And the idea is that you change your belief system, you can change what's going on in your body, right? So if you are believing you are sick, well, yeah, you're going to be sick. But if you're believing that you can be strong and healthy, that your body will start to course correct itself. And so it gives you the affirmations to use in order to assist with that process of like course correction. So I thought that was pretty cool. Hashtag fact checking phase. Hopefully it won't take too long of a process. You know what? I genuinely don't know. I don't know. It's really interesting because I'm learning all of this. I don't really know. Like, I guess they're fact checking each card individually. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's just checking to make sure it's the same information and it's like in alignment with the market. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm learning though, and it's really exciting to like learn about what they are looking at. I mean, when they get through the process, I'll ask them like, so specifically, what were you fact checking? My name? I don't know. You know. So, Biden. Grandpa Joe has stepped down. And Kamala Harris has stepped up. Now, this was very exciting to me this past Sunday because I was like, thank God I'm not crazy. Because for the longest time, I have been seeing a third person and I could not for the life of me figure it out. And so what happened was then I started trying to like piece together previous things that I've said. And then I like went on a hunt for different videos in which I may have said something. And then I I'm pretty sure by pulling all the videos together, we have ended up in a predicted it scenario. So I thought that that was fun. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to show the videos. I'm going to show the clips. I'm going to show the proof, right? Which is really my way of trying to utilize this pro subscription of this streaming service and platform. And so that's what we're going to do. So I am going to show you. I'm going to show you what I did. And I'm going to show you what I said because I thought, well, that's fun, you know? Also, by the way, for people that are here or even people that are here during the replay, if you can timestamp, right? So timestamp when you got in here. So that's probably around somewhere like 9 minutes, 33 seconds, maybe 10 minutes, 33 seconds in this particular live because I was a little bit late today. So if you could timestamp for people and for the replay people so they can figure out where they are and also skip around because, you know, these lives be long. So help people out, help people out. So anyway, I'm going to show you because I was like, okay. And then also I get to like learn how to use this thing, which is also equally fun. So let's see. There we go. So this was like 2 weeks ago. Please just go retire. But you know what's really interesting? I think 6 months ago, I think I made a predictions video and I was talking about the election and I was saying how it was difficult to see. It was one of those things that I could not really see properly, which was weird because I remember when Trump was first elected, I saw that and people were like, really? And I was like, mark my words, he's going to be president. And they were like, no, I don't think you're right or whatever. And then sure enough, that's what happened. I could see it and I could actually see it really clearly. There is something different with this election in the sense that it's not clear. I can't see it. And there's like way too many timelines. And I remember when Biden first got into office, I remember seeing at that point that Kamala was going to have a much larger role. And a thing that has been really confusing for me is that she has almost disappeared instead of having a larger role. And so that's really weird because that's not what I saw. She is like nowhere to be seen. And when I looked into that, so that's one, right? So then I went back, okay, well, let me dig up that video from 6 months ago. Well, what was I on 6 months ago? And then it turns out this was what I was on 6 months ago. It's actually pretty strong. There's also somebody who I don't know. So I don't know if this person hasn't entered the race yet, but what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is a blank face who has like 2-3 timelines of winning the presidency. So what I'm picking that up as is like this person just hasn't announced it yet. They haven't come out yet. Is maybe someone died and then this person stepped up. I'm not actually sure. And so now we know what happened. Now we know that it was literally a situation where someone else did step up. Grandpa Joe didn't die, but if he kept going, he could have. Okay. Because if you saw his before and afters, he's not looking too good. And yeah, it ended up being Kamala actually was supposed to have a larger role and that she was supposed to be taking a step forward. It's just who would have been able to see it in that kind of way because it's so unprecedented. But here's something else that I've learned about my site that I wanted to share because if you see how I see, then this could actually be helpful for you. Typically, when I'm looking for something and it's like blank and I can't see it, to me, it's like major decisions weren't made yet, which was the case in this particular circumstances. They were still sorting their stuff out. But another thing that I realized in this circumstance was that I was looking for something that didn't exist. So I'm over there trying to see the end results of an election between Trump and Biden, but there was no end result. So I'm sitting here like, Spirit, why aren't you telling me what's going on? And Spirit's like, well, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to talk about because literally nothing is going on. So I'm looking for something, confused as to why I don't see it. I don't see it because there's nothing to see. So that was actually a really interesting sort of realization I had when it came to how like my site works. And so, you know, if that is how your site works, then maybe that's some insight into what happened with you. I do know somebody else said that they had looked into it and they also couldn't see it either. They couldn't see the end. It was because there wasn't anything to see. There wasn't anything there. And so I think that is really, really funny. The best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. It's the best way to untie our nation. I revere this office, but I love my country more. Oh, that's what Biden said. Laughing my ass off. This I told you so replay. When I seen the news, I thought about you. It was subtle, right? That replay was real subtle, right? So yeah, I told you so, and it's really interesting because when I first said it like 6 months ago, when I tell you I felt crazy, and this is something else that I wanted to address as well when it comes to like you working with your site or however you receive messages. One question I get all the time is like, how do I know I'm not making it up, or how do I know that I'm not crazy? And the answer that I've always given was, well, you don't. The only thing that you can really go off of is what you're feeling and what you're perceiving at that time. You can't go off of like, well, this doesn't sound reasonable, or like this sounds like something that doesn't actually happen, because in this particular case, this is very unprecedented. It doesn't actually happen. It's not I think the last time it happened was maybe 50 years ago. So it's not something that would really sit in the awareness. And if I relied on what my sort of 3D brain thinks can and cannot happen, then I would have really tripped myself up with trying to get the message out. Whereas instead, what I had to do was not judge what I was picking up on. I had to just get rid of it and be like, look, this is what I'm seeing, and I'm just letting it go, and it is what it is. And if something happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. The replay was much needed. Hit the like, please. Yeah. Can you guys like hit the like button? That'd be great. Like, share, subscribe. By the way, I don't know if it does it when you live stream, but I do think it does it in the replay. I think when you say hit the like button, I think it highlights itself and like throws up some confetti. Can someone tell me if it's doing that by me saying hit the like button? Is it triggering YouTube right now to throw up some confetti? I'm so curious. Because I'm not watching my own YouTube because the feedback is weird. And if like you're in a replay, can someone tell me if I say literally hit the like button, does it throw confetti? It should have thrown confetti. Anyway, just curious. So anyway, when it did when I hit the like button. No, it didn't. Okay, so maybe it's a replay thing. I've seen it do it for some people in the replay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna say one more time, just for funsies. Hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. Thanks, guys. Also, it actually really helps to like push things out, because if you're not doing it, then it shows that it's no one is engaging with it, and so it doesn't get pushed out. The algorithm is very cutthroat these days. It is not like how it used to be. It does in the chat. Ooh, cool. It does? Oh, that's so cool. Now, literally, like I'm just gonna be randomly throwing out, hit that like button just as I keep going, just because that just really does it for me. Yeah. But anyway, when it comes to the election, what can I now say? Well, it's still really foggy. However, what I can see is that there's going to be an issue with technicality, and that issue can come up on either side. It doesn't really matter. It's just an issue with technicality. So whoever wins, people are going to be like, well, technically, but can they really? It's going to be this issue of like someone trying to dig up some law from 60, 70 years ago. And they're going to be like, but on a technicality, they're going to start pulling that. And there's going to be a question about whether the person that actually wins can actually serve. And we may get to a point where like they don't, right? So it's going to be a huge question around whoever won, can that person actually serve, and will that person actually sit in office? So like, this is just the first phase, right? First, we got to get there. Like we got to get to November first, right? And then after we get there and the election is over, then it's going to be like, well, can that person sit in the office? Is that person really eligible? Did we check this? Did we check that? It's going to be some weird thing on technicality, and it's going to spark this whole new thing. People are going to be suing each other. And I actually sense that it's actually going to be like a long-term thing. Like it's going to be a situation where even whoever like gets in the office, whenever someone actually is formally inaugurated and sworn in, there's still going to be questions about like this technicality and whether this person is able to make certain decisions and whether they have certain like authority and certain power levels. And so it's just going to be a mess the whole way through. So for those of you that were thinking that all we got to do is get to November, then it's going to be fine. It's not. They're still going to be on the bullshit and they're still going to be going back and forth. Biden, I'm concerned about him because Biden is not well. Biden is sick and they're just not saying anything about it. And like in addition to one, I think he does have dementia. I just don't think it's been announced. And he is in decline like fast. Like this man is in rapid levels of decline. And it's actually incredibly concerning. And it's like one of those things where I'm actually happy that he stepped down, because if he did one more term, I don't think he would have survived the term. I think he would have like died, to be quite honest with you. I think he's really old. And I think one more war would have put the man in hospice. I got to be super honest. Something with Biden, he's not well. There's just something about him that's just like not well. And it feels like when there's an opportunity, like it feels like what they're trying to do is get him to the end of his term when they can like hand it over. And then there'll be an announcement of some sort that he's just like not well. And it feels like what's happening is that they're just working really, really hard to like keep that under wraps for like the next, 6 months or whatever, however much longer we got going on until the next person is inaugurated. But he's not doing well. He's sick. Like he's saying that he's healthy and all the doctors, he's not healthy. And him being like the doctors say I'm fine, like that means nothing because of all type of privacy laws. It's not like they could tell us anyway. But he's not well. So, any clues about the VP pick? I don't have not one slight idea about the VP pick, to be really, really honest with you. Not the slightest. I didn't even look into it. They did have a list of people. Maybe I'll look into it. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll look into it for next week. And that's assuming that they don't move so fast that I miss it. Oh, they'll be arguing for the throne of the USA. And then probably all the stress too. Yes, it's definitely stress. Have you guys seen, there's videos circulating now about with Biden from like 2019 when he was running versus him today. And like the decline is unreal. And it's interesting because all presidents like age super, super quick. But it's not like the problem with Biden is that he can't age super, super quick. He doesn't have extra years to give. It's not like Obama, who was like young, who had some years to give. Biden doesn't have some years to give. And so it looks like this job is putting him right into the goddamn ground. It's really bad when you look at the two side by side. It's actually really sad. So people don't freak out. Yeah, because who wants to hear that the leader of the free world is sick? Seems like if the vice just took over, they'll say it was just handed to her, but that doesn't sound like her playing a big enough part like you said. It's so interesting. I think that they could say that it was handed to her. I think there could be issues about other people not having an opportunity to run, other people not having an opportunity to be like voted, like the democratic process, something about like the democratic process wasn't actually adhered to. And then they're going to flip it on the people. So it's going to start as like a Washington thing of them just grasping for straws. And then they're going to be like, but the people of the United States didn't have a say. And then we're going to be like, whoa, like leave us out of this. Like this is y'all fight. It's going to be like something about like that. So, I mean, I don't know, but it seems like, it's going to go back and forth the entire way through. And there's definitely going to be some questions about whether or not whoever gets it can actually serve and whether or not and it's going to be like, can they legally do it? And then it seems like it's going to be like having all these courts looking into it and like litigators and stuff like that, trying to figure out whether or not this person can actually do it, which is really unfortunate because that's going to take up so much time that whoever wins is not going to have an opportunity to just run the damn country. They're going to be dealing with all this other stuff. So looking forward to that. Anyway, that was a very long I told you so. I'm ready to move on. So I have a question for you. And then I have an assignment. And some of you are like, I didn't come here for all of that. But you did. If you showed up, you came here for that. I have a question and then I have an assignment. My question for you is, what do you want to do when you grow up? Has anyone asked you that recently? Like, has anyone asked you what you want to do or like what you want to do when you grow up? And the reason why I ask this is because something happens in life where you hit a certain point and then there is this idea that like you stop growing. Like when we feel like, oh, when you hit this legal age of adulthood that you stop growing, you're now an adult. And it's almost like at that point in time, suddenly we lose childlike wonder. And childlike wonder is where all of our dreams and all of our hopes and all of our ambitions is sitting. Like, you remember as a kid when someone asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, the wonder that would happen, even if you didn't like really have a real answer, there was this feeling of like possibility. Like, as a kid, kids be like, I want to be a firefighter, right? I want to be an astronaut. There's like this feeling of possibility. And then you get older, and then society tells you now you're legally an adult, and then it's time to go get a job. And then you just go get whatever can halfway pay your bills. And suddenly the childlike wonder is gone. And suddenly you stop asking, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the reason why, like, I'm a big kid and it works. Yeah. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the collective energy right now, we have people going, okay, we got it. Totally. Yep. I'm on board. Right. Like, I'm here. I hear you, Mr. Crate. I am ready to change and flip this shit upside down. And then there's this feeling of, okay, but shit, what do I do? What do I want to do? I don't know I don't actually know what I want to do. What do I love? Or like, how do I do what I want to do? But like, shit, like, what do I like? And I would love to pursue my passions, but oh my God, what are my passions? I mean, I used to like this thing a while ago, but it's been a while since I did it. And I don't really know if I really like it like that all like today. And like, oh, that thing is actually really cool, but I don't really know if I like have the time in my schedule to really tackle that right now. And like, there's this feeling of like, oh, that sounds great, but what next? Like, what do I actually like? And thinking about this, I realized part of the issue why sometimes people are not in tune with what they actually want to do is because no one is asking the question. No one is asking you, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because we are always growing. We're always evolving. We are eternal beings. We are immortal. So this idea and this notion that you turn 18 and then it's done and then like that's it and you should have your answer by that point in time is ridiculous. It's asinine. And it's just not true because we are always growing. We are always in a state of growing up. And as we go through each phase in life, we can always ask ourselves again, what do we want to be when we grow up? When I was younger, I wanted to try anything and everything. My imagination was running wild, and it made me think that anything is possible until societal norms, limiting beliefs came into the picture. Yep. Oh my gosh, yes, I've been on a journey to find a hobby because I don't know what I really like to do other than work. Yep. In retrospect, I just wanted to play and be free. Be free who is able to do anything without restrictions. Yeah, you wanted to play. And you had hobbies as kids. And as kids, a lot of the times, the hobbies weren't long-term hobbies. You find something, you were really interested in it. Maybe it got you through a week and then you were on the hunt. You were looking for something else that would come in, right? You always maintained an awe, maintained a wonder. You always was thinking about the next thing. You were always considering what it was that you wanted to do when you grew up. And so in the spirit of us evolving, right? I want to bring us back to that place. I want to now ask you and re-ask you, in order to prompt the juices flowing, in order to help you find that thing, I want to re-ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then I want us to do an assignment, an exercise that will help sort of flush out the juices, right? So where is a good place to start when you're trying to find this thing? You start by looking at all of the things that you love. And it can be like, I love my dog. I love a flower. but I actually really like tulips. Why is that? Oh, you know what tulips are really nice? The pink tulips are really nice, right? We want to do a deep dive into all of the things that we love because that is where it is. It's buried somewhere in there, but we have to bring it to the surface, right? We have to bring all the things that we love to the surface. Why do we have to bring it to the surface? Because again, when has someone ever asked you, hey, tell me all the things that you love? Can you list all those things that you love? It's not a question. And because it's not a question, it is not unreasonable to not automatically have an answer to that question. So now I'm going to pose the question in order for you to be able to come up with an answer for it, right? So we're going to have a little assignment, right? I'm putting the assignment up. Here we go. Here's your assignment. I want you to list all the things that you love, and I want you to take a minute to think on it, right? I want you to take a meditative minute to think on it. And I want you to like create a list. And I don't know where you are right now. And I don't know what you're doing right now, right? So you may be in the car, so it may be a mental list, right? You may have a moment to grab a pen and a post-it note, and you may be able to scribble down that list, right? Maybe you have your phone next to you, you can put it in your notes app. I want you to start listing all the things that you love. Okay. And I want you to be as small with it, and I want you to be as big with it. Be narrow and be wide at the same time and really go into it. Just list the things that you love. Don't think about why you love it. We don't have enough time for that tonight, right? Just think about what you love, and we're going to make a list. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some time, right? I'm going to play a song, and then I'm also going to set a timer for 3 minutes, okay? You just made a list of all the things you love. I love that. The other day, I absolutely love that. I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, okay? We're going to set a timer, and then I'm going to play a song, a thinking song. And you're going to make a list. And then when you're done making the list, I want you to be ready to share your list and to share your list in the chat. And the reason why I would like you to share your list in the chat is because sometimes something is in your awareness that is not in somebody else's awareness, but it's something that that person may actually like, right? So we're going to do a brain dump on love. And by sharing it with each other, we have an ability to maybe trigger past memories, past ideas, and other people that may have been forgotten or hidden, that those other people, that may be where the gem is for someone else, right? In terms of what their next pursuit is going to be or what their next hobby is going to be, okay? So I'm going to put on a song. We're going to go for 3 minutes. Where is the song? All right, hold on. All right, you ready? 3 minutes, go. All right. That was 3 minutes. For anyone that's new, that's just dropping in, we are listing all the things that we love. Anyone that's here that's catching the replay, please timestamp that so people know when they can come back after waiting for the 3 minutes. Thank you. I would appreciate that so much. All right. So before we start dropping things in the chat, I have a question for you. And this is a reflection question, right? Maybe you have thoughts or something that you think you want to mention now. If you do, that's great. Would love to hear it. But this is really something for you to walk away with. And you may need to sleep on this question that I'm about to ask you. In your list that you made when it comes to all the things that you love, did you add yourself? If you did not add yourself, why did you forget about yourself again for the umpteenth time? And if you did add yourself, how far down that list were you? The reason why this is so important is that if you don't learn to love yourself first, all the other things on your list, what's the point of it? Because you are the creator, you are God. All those things that you listed that you love are aspects of you. But if you cannot see yourself first, then how are you going to appreciate all the aspects that you've listed? If you are looking to pursue your passions and you're starting with a list of things you love, but you do not recognize that you should be on that list and that you should be the first thing on that list, then how are you supposed to get close to your passions? Marinate on that. It starts with you. It starts with the love of self. And pursuing loving passions is the pursuit of you. You are pursuing yourself. To pursue something you love means you are in pursuit of yourself. To live a life that you love means that you are living the life of self. Okay? You must be on that list. And if you're not on that list, you must examine why you're not on that list in order to put yourself on that list. You must be willing to change your current belief system in order to get yourself on that list. You must understand that all you have to do is love and accept yourself of who you are today. That it's okay if you did things in the past that you don't particularly love, but that's okay. You must also understand and accept that you are different and that being different is not a reason to say that you do not love yourself or to exclude yourself from a loving list. That being different is important and being different is what makes you who you are because everything is different. Nothing in the universe repeats itself. Every snowflake is different. Every fingerprint is different. That's what makes a snowflake, and that's what makes a fingerprint. And so it's important that you be different too. And so if you're trying to measure yourself against everybody else and then you're upset because you feel like you come up short each time because you are not conforming, then you've got it all wrong. You are meant to be different. So marinate on that. And in the meantime, when it comes to the other things that you love, all those other beautiful aspects of yourself that you have yet to realize is in fact you, I would love it if you can start dropping those things in the chat. Why are we dropping it in the chat? Because this gives other people an opportunity to share it. This gives you an opportunity to share your love, to spread your love, to say what you love. Because how often do we have an opportunity to do that? This gives other people an opportunity to see other ways that love can actually exist because maybe it wasn't shown to them previously. Maybe nobody demonstrated to them before. Maybe there's no example. Maybe they have no frame of reference. And maybe seeing you say it is what they need in order to put it in their awareness to get them to where it is that they need to go. So start dropping it in the chat. What do you love? Even if it's mundane. I could start listing things that I love. Some of those things are very mundane. I like various shades of pink. Why do I like various shades of pink? I'm always in awe about how a color can just have so many hues. That is just remarkable to me. And I'm super in awe about the fact that not everyone sees the same hue. To me, it is demonstrative of the possibility that actually exists in the world. I think that is the coolest thing ever. I think it's so cool. And I love seeing how animals can talk and communicate with each other and be different species of animals, be from different places in the world and still being able to communicate. Because what that is reminding me of is that we are, in fact, all one. Yes. Christina Marsh says art is a way of expression and healing. Yep. Ralph says things that I love: the arts, visual and performing. Yes. Singing, music, videos, painting, drawing, coloring. Love it. Pottery, ceramics, learning new things, traveling, connecting with new people. Love it. Alita says my family, my ice cream truck business, my pets, crafting, in my craft room, reading, hiking, napping, gardening, dancing, watching documentaries. Ralph says breaking down the parts of an idea, sharing ideas. I believe that's supposed to say editing videos or no, eating videos. You like eating videos? Mukbangs? Nature videos? Animation, writing, reading, connecting with nature, hiking, the ocean, beach, dreaming. Tiffany says animals, drawing, writing, giving advice, learning new things, making things better, astrology, words with friends, food, sharing my energy when I feel like I need it. Christina says listening to the narratives of others. Tangi says my cats, ferrets, my partner, dark chocolate, fashion, makeup, and skincare. Cute things, weird plants, musicals, black history, black poetry, infusing alcohol, cooking, food from different cultures. Dina says clay sculpting, crochet, markers, gaming, the beach, spiritual gifts, wolves, tarot reading, meditating, singing, my friends, anime, my pets, movies, tech stuff. Love it. There are 23 people in here. I need more. Because you're telling me with 23 people, that's all we got? We are loving beings and that's all we got? Plushies. Love it. Cute says, I love butterflies, fairies, mushrooms, moss on rocks and trees, making clay things, painting, music, listening to music while creating art, being in nature, napping, looking at the moon, crystals. Keep them coming. We got 24 people in here. I know we can come up with more love than that. While you guys are coming up with more things, it's so interesting because I'm looking at these lists and I'm like seeing so many ways that like people can go. I love the ice cream check. I think that's so awesome. Connecting with nature. I think I love that. Writing, giving advice, learning new things. Tiffany, I don't know what you do for a living, but this is just like a psychic kick when it comes to you. There's money in that giving advice thing for you, for the writing and the giving advice. So I don't know if you were thinking about writing books, doing some kind of like blogging thing. Maybe you're on social media. I don't know, but there's something about you actually sharing your perspective that has money in it that will generate income for you. It's just a matter of believing that you have something to say and then understanding that people would actually want to hear it. It's you accepting the fact that what you have to say is important and relevant and valid, and that there would be people who would be really appreciative of actually hearing that. But there's money in that for you, the writing and the giving advice. So if you feel like you're sitting on wisdom, you should probably not do that. Yes, Tangi, I love Halloween, mermaids, scary movies, the smell of sage and basil. Nina loves crystals. Wendy loves music, dancing, asking people about their tattoos. Oh, coloring, sharing good from my culture, fashion, and other ways people express themselves, and reading. Brandon loves drawing, art, being in nature, cooking, flowers, swimming, water, sharing, dreaming, the springtime, herbs, plants, space, astrology, astronomy. Q loves pastel colors, rainbows, learning new things, redecorating, taking care of my plants, my children, music, and nature. I think it's interesting the amount of times that I've seen learning new things come up, because you recognize there's always opportunity in learning, and there's always opportunity in learning new things, because when you're learning something, it's more than just acquiring information or acquiring knowledge. You're also picking up on skill set. You are picking up resources, right? That can be utilized for something. So like really what I'm saying is that if when anything you learn has an ability to bring something back to you, anything that you learn has an ability to like double your current resources or add a new resource, right? And resources could be money, but for example, let's say you learn woodworking, right? Suddenly you know how to build furniture. You'll never have to furnish your house ever again, ever, or worry about having to pay for that. So, resource in that kind of way, or maybe you're furnishing houses for other people because of your woodworking, right? And so now other people are paying you to do something. So, anytime you're learning something new, you are picking up on a skill and a resource that can actually be utilized. Not all learning is passive learning. The majority of learning is not passive, it's active, because nothing in the universe has a redundancy. It's very rare that you'll hold information for the sake of holding information. Typically, if you have it, then you can do something with it. You don't have to. There's no like spiritual law saying that you're required to. But if you are someone that's like sitting on buckets of information, then you're probably not utilizing your resources as well as you probably could use them. But children, music, nature, yeah. I love reading, music, hiking, all things with fur. Oh, fall days and the leaves changing colors, talking, writing, making and cooking, unconditional love, and rain that leads to rainbows. All of these things are so beautiful. So beautiful. I do have a question for a fair amount of you. I'm not going to call out people's names individually, maybe. But I do notice that there's like, I can see that like people here like love connecting with other people. My question for you is, so why do you stop yourself, and why are you scared of forming relationships and establishing bonds and connections with people? Why do you have such a problem with intimacy and connection when you love it so much? Why are you standing in your own way? Birds, yes. Tasha says early mornings with tea, journaling, creating art, talking, love my daughter's laughter, music, nature, photography, and nails. I love hearing. Oh, hearing birds. Sharonda says learning, writing, researching, tarot, journaling, history, astrology, crystals, helping people, spas, massages, all things spiritual. You did catch the live. Welcome, welcome. Christina says, because I'm an alien. Are you really? You just telling me now? Are you really for real, or are you just joking? Well, if you're for real, welcome. Sunseed says connection is scary when you've been hurt so many times. I understand that. But I also think too that there's value in reframing the experience, right? So is it scary, or is it just a learning lesson, right? Was it an opportunity to experience someone else having a hard time accepting their own vulnerability? Was it an opportunity to simply learn how other people may respond when it comes to intimacy and closeness? Sometimes things that feel scary are just opportunities. Tandy says, because it's scary and making friends as an adult is hard as fuck. It is difficult, but I will say it's not as hard sometimes as we like to build a wall up and tell ourselves that it's hard, right? Most people are thinking the same thing. Most people are feeling the apprehension, the reservation, the, oh, is this a good idea? Is that person trustworthy? Will that person like me? And so it's not necessarily that it's always difficult. Sometimes everyone is just thinking the same thing. And so everyone is hesitating at the same time. Everyone's like, well, maybe I just shouldn't get so close, right? And then, but not realizing that the other person may potentially be thinking about that from their perspective about you, right? I find that the older I get, the more I have to break the wall between somebody that I want to be friends with, because they are also just as skittish And sometimes it requires me going to that person being like, hey, I like food. You want to go eat with me? And then, I don't know, something about food. People go, yeah, oh, that's okay. Yeah, I want to go. I want to do that. And then sometimes it's about being okay facilitating a relationship because this is very common. A lot of people feel this way. And if two people are feeling the same way and everyone's waiting for the other person to make the move, then no one is making the move. And then you just watch someone go by that you would have liked to be friends with that you didn't have an opportunity to be friends with because both people got scared. So I like to think of things that feel scary as areas of opportunity. There's always opportunity on the other side of fear. There's always a lesson that can be learned on the other side of fear. And there's always something that can be gained on the other side of fear. And so whenever I'm feeling scared or nervous, I'm always asking myself, well, what could I get from the other side of this? What am I standing in front of? Because I'm afraid to do it, afraid to reach out, afraid to ask, afraid to test a connection. What am I missing out of? What's on the other side of that fear? There's always opportunity. You caught the live, but late. As long as you caught it, we're glad to have you. Christina says, thank you. I was told I'm an alien, but who knows? Aren't we all? I mean, yeah, I think that I think the concept of like extraterrestrial is super weird when like, aren't we on a Terra planet? Like we're literally on a Terra planet, but we're not the extraterrestrials. I don't know. I just find it weird that like I think the word alien, to be quite honest, is quite derogatory. I think it's a word that people use to really explain someone or something that they don't fully understand. And so they call it alien. I think it's honestly, I think it's a little ignorant, to be quite honest with you. Grace says astrology, anime, linguistics, comedy, spirituality, self improvement, travel, rock climbing, drawing, competitive games, giving advice, working toward a vision. Grace, same thing with you. It's really interesting to see like giving advice popping up because when people like to give advice, it's very rare that people enjoy giving advice, but they're really bad at it. When you enjoy giving advice, there's a talent that you're sitting on. And if you find that like not only do you enjoy giving advice, but you find that people are receptive to the advice that you're actually giving, there's a path there that you're probably sitting on that you're not realizing is actually there for you. Because here's the thing about advice, not everybody has it, and the ones that do have it, not all of it's good. It's a skill and it's a talent to actually be able to give good advice, right? Like for example, like top levels of execs, they don't just hire anybody to be an advisor, right? You got to be really good to be hired to advise, to give people advice, right? Like there's a talent in that and there's a skill in that. And yeah, so, and there's also money in that and some form of resources in that as well. And so even when it comes to like resources specifically around giving advice, maybe it's not money, maybe because you help somebody do something, they feel really, like grateful and they're like, "Hey, whenever you need me, contact me. I'm willing to help you at any time." So it may be getting resources in that kind of way too. And then working towards a vision. That's really interesting because now I'm like, well, what's the vision? What's the path? What are we doing? What you got cooking? Ralph says, I feel like we can cultivate connection one step at a time. It can be as easy as smiling, saying hi to people that we cross paths with, helping someone with directions if they are not local, etc. Absolutely. 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 It's just about putting yourself out there. And because you'd be so surprised about the people who are on the receiving end. And you don't want to stop yourself from living because you are afraid of a couple of boogeymen, you know? Because a couple, you know what I mean? And as you go throughout life, you live and you experience, you learn lessons, you become better able to pick up on flags, on potential problem areas. You grow to learn to trust your intuition when something is telling you that maybe that person isn't the right person. And so you just move in a way of knowing and relying on your skill set. Your skill set has an ability to warn you. Your body will warn you when someone is not okay. It's called instinct, right? That is why you're here. That is why you are one of the fittest when it comes to the survival of the fittest. The skill set is already ingrained into you to be able to suss out danger. So you don't necessarily have to be so hyper vigilant. If your intuition and the bells start ringing saying this isn't a good person, say thank you, intuition, and you keep it moving. But don't allow that one person to then influence how you allow yourself to interact with other people. Because at the end of the day, your instinct did what it was supposed to do. That survival thing, that thing that's in your genetics, it did what it was supposed to do. It told you not that one. But that doesn't mean you have to go, oh my God, what do I do now? I'm not supposed to do that one. Does that mean I'm not this one? That's not what it means. It just means not that one, right? That doesn't mean that it's not everybody. And you don't know what is on the other side. You can have beautiful friendships, for some of you, beautiful relationships, job offers, contract offers, money. People bring opportunity, right? Opportunity is always offered from another person. Someone has to hand you over a contract to sign, right? Someone has to hand you their hand in marriage, right? Like someone has to give it to you. And so if you are running from people, then you're running from opportunity. All right. So a few people were assholes. All right. All right. I'm sure you could be an asshole too if you really wanted to. Right? What does it really mean at the end of the day, anyway? It doesn't mean much, you know? So try not to assign it to me so much meaning. If I was scared of the boogeyman, I would not have met my husband. My husband was from the other side of the world. And it was because we were like, hi, what's your name? What's your name? Oh, by the way, honey, if you're watching, he is usually watching from his office, lurking very silently. Hi, honey. How are you? Yeah, but if we weren't just like, hey, if no one sort of extended that little hi, sorry, I'm not from around here, but like you look nice, how are you? Then like that would have been a whole misconnection. So you never know what's on the other side of that hello. Christina, I love bartering, like negotiating, like with people, like with shopping. Stephanie, if you don't try, you are only missing out on an opportunity. As an adult, that can happen when trying is gaining experience or friends, but if you try and it don't work out, then you leave with what you came with. Yeah. And you also probably leave with a little bit more wisdom too, right? Grace says, I like anything that involves having a clear vision for something and working toward perfecting it. Like a craftsman. Or the opposite, creating order out of chaos. Oh, trading services type of bartering. I love it. I love it. All of these things that you guys said, one, thank you so much for contributing and for sharing. And also, anyone that's here in the replay, if you have a list, drop it in the chat too. Because there will be other people that come here in the replay as well that may be thinking of things. And this list can actually help someone. It may trigger something else. It may trigger an old passion from somebody else that something that they love, but they forgot a long time ago because society told us all that we had to grow up, right? So the next question that I have for you is, considering what is on your list, now that we have a list of things that we love that's now sitting in our forefront of awareness, I want to ask you guys again, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right? A lot of people said that they like writing or reading. Do you want to write books? You want to be an author when you grow up? Have you considered it in the past, and then because it felt like something that was so weird or so out of reach, maybe so ambitious that you dropped it, maybe, perhaps? Maybe you were like, I'm going to try to write a first draft, but then you got stuck at the first paragraph. And instead of looking at it as writer's block, which is super normal, you looked at it as maybe this means I can't do it. For those of you that said things like astrology or anything spiritually related, you want to be an astrologer? Astrologers are making money. And a lot of people have astrologers. Politicians use astrologers. Celebrities use astrologer. Ever wanted to be a celebrity astrologer? Celebrity psychic? Want to do that? What do you want to be when you grow up? For those of you that like nature, that like plants, you want to have your own farm? You want to have a greenhouse? You want to own your own flower shop? Maybe? Did you say that or think that at one point in time and someone tell you it wasn't realistic? For those of you that like painting and drawing, do you just want to be a painter? You know, they still have those, right? They still have painters. This is not like something that's old and outdated. What do you want to be when you grow up? Grace said rock climbing. Anybody want to be a climbing instructor? Anybody want to open a climbing gym? Stephanie says owning an inexpensive allergy-friendly food truck. Love it. While owning land for people who can't afford living. Love it. So, are you going to move towards that now that you know what you want to be when you grow up? Nina says tarot is my passion. I already know it's what I want to be. I found I had a gift for it when I was younger and I've always felt it should be what I want to do. It's my dream professionally. Do it. Hell, tarot turned me into an author. That was my segue. And there's so many tarot readers out who are doing it professionally who do it as their sole form of living. Do it. What's stopping you? Tandy says, I want to be happy and financially secure. I have my dream career. So for the rest of adulthood, I want to play and I want to find joy. I love that. How do you play? What do you play with? And also, too, just to note, because financial security, a lot of people like financial security, too. You know, if this is something that, you know, other people feel like that they are on the hunt for, financial security has a tendency to come when you allow yourself to fall into alignment, right? So fall into alignment with who you are, fall into alignment with what your talents and your skills are, fall into alignment when it comes to things that you actually want to do, fall into alignment when it comes to your purpose, right? When you start to fall into alignment of who you are and be where it is that you're supposed to be, resources have a tendency to flow. The channels, the gates kind of open. I love studying Norse runes and I want to be a spiritual advisor. What's that first word? Satyr? Cider? That's the first time I've seen that word, but a spiritual advisor. Do it. Are you doing it now? If you're not doing it now, what's stopping you? I mean, I spend like once a week calling people out with spiritual advisor on the video. What is stopping you? Have you started making moves on it? Christina says, I love how affirming you are. I'm just here to remind you of what you already know. I'm just a reflection of your higher self, reminding you what you already know. Stephanie, yes, I'm currently getting licensed to own the truck. Awesome. And saving up and looking for land. Love it. Love to see it. Snaps. I need a snap button. I need to figure out how to get one of those. Good job. Good work. And I'm proud of you. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Nina says, ooh, good to know, with clay sculptures on the side. Thank you. Yes. Your path is literally in the list that you wrote. Oh, we got more. Spiritual engineering, method that combines spirituality, psychology, and science to help people access their inner spiritual power, helping people develop self-love and love their relationships. There is so much room for you. It's not even funny. The spiritual community, just in general, is going to increase like tenfold in the next year, year and a half, going on to 2 years. It's just a difference. It's a change in the times. It's part of the whole sort of new agey, Aquarian age. It's just part of what people are going to be doing. People are going to be turning away from the church, but still looking for reasoning, still looking for guidance, right? And they're going to start looking towards different sort of spiritual modalities, and they're going to be looking for those advisors, those teachers, those healers, and people that can help them and facilitate them on whatever part of the journey that they're actually on. If this is what you want to do, then do it. I love art and the spiritual, especially messages that can help others. I want to combine the two in some way. I feel like this is totally doable. Some people just make spiritual art. Have you heard of that? It's literally called spiritual art, right? So they may paint something and they will do it with a certain intention, right? So they may intend to convey an energy or a frequency of calm, for example. And then they'll meditate and then they just paint freely. And it's called like spiritual art. And spiritual art can manifest in a lot of different ways. Some people do it in writing. Some of the things I write is channeled. That's spiritual art. I don't even remember half the stuff I write some of the times. I didn't write it. My fingers are moving. But I don't remember. I wasn't there. Rob says, I'm currently on employee affinity group leader in wellness. Oh, and an employee affinity group leader in wellness at my current company. I love it. I love it. And I love seeing people blend it. For me, it's always been really interesting because I do like operations, but HR is always in my scope. And people are always like, you're so empathetic. And I'm like, am I? And then people will say, have you ever heard of like that word empath? And I'll be like, I think I may have heard about it at some point in time. Or if they go, you just know what to say. I do. How do you know? I don't know. It just comes to me. I love seeing people blend it. It's pronounced seer. And my family is hyper Christian, and I'm worried they will disown me. That's what's stopping me. I understand this fear. This is something that I battled with for a number of years. This fear of, well, to be quite honest with you, of being seen. And really what the fear is, we think it's a fear of family. We think it's a fear of being misunderstood. We think it's a fear of being disowned or shunned. But sometimes, I'm not saying this is all the time, but sometimes what's really sort of deeply in there is really just a fear of being seen for who you authentically are and a fear of being heard. Your authentic views, perspectives, opinions, ideology. It's usually like a deeper fear of being seen and being heard. But in the beginning of my journey, I thought initially that it was the fear of family, which is how the whole persona was even created to begin with, right? It was a fear of family. It was a fear of the public. It was a fear of like being a kook, right? Like this girl playing with tarot cards. Like it was a fear of being judged and severely misunderstood, which is how the persona of Mystic Rain was even created in the first place. Because at that time, it was meant to be a persona. It was meant to be an alias. It was meant to be a way for me to communicate with like-minded people without having to reveal who I actually was. And I just think it's funny, and I laugh at Spirit sometimes where I'm like, oh, this was a persona that was created to hide, and it ended up being a little bit more public than I thought it would be. So yeah, no, but I get it. Your move, if some of you are like, what's my next move? What do I do next? How do I go from here? It's in the list. It's in your list, right? Like that's your starting point. That's where you start. And if you have more than one thing in your list that you love, it is possible to pull all those things together, right? It is possible to blend the things together. It is possible to blend things together that you feel like do not match, are not they don't traditionally overlap. And I would actually encourage that you try to blend them together, because that's what makes you you. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you unique. If you are someone that's like, I want to make some money doing this, that is what makes people intrigued. That's why people want to buy, because it's different, because it's a blending of two things that they haven't actually seen before. So there's a way to blend those two things, right? Also remember too, that for some people, this doesn't necessarily mean that you are dropping your current life in order to pursue the list. That's not going to be what some people actually want to do. And that's also not what's necessary. What this is going to help you do is pursue the things that you love. And by pursuing the things that you love to do, you will notice that there will be other opportunities that will just open up for you. Why? Because you're in a state of alignment. You will start to find opportunities that are in relation to the things that you love. Why? Because you're just in alignment. And what you might find is down the line, your life just looks a little different because you started to pursue things that you love, and suddenly now you got a life you love. Why? Because you're just in alignment, right? When it comes to having experiences that are full of things that we love and enjoy, those things are not going to follow us around on their own. Those are things that require active pursuit. But in order to actively pursue those things, you have to first ask yourself the question, what do I love? And what do I want to be when I grow up? Nina says, what's stopping me? Life troubles in general have held me back. My husband's passing 2 years ago. Of course, that's tragic. I started reading tarot again and practicing, of course. But sometimes too, it's not that life troubles hold you back. Life troubles fortify. Life troubles strengthen. They teach. They I don't want to say, because hard is not the right word. I wanted to use hard, but that is, I don't have the language for this, right? But it's meant to fortify you. It's meant to teach you. In some stages, it's meant to heal you, right? But it's not ever trying to hold you back. Life doesn't actually hold us back, right? I think sometimes we think that that it does, because life can sometimes things suck, right? We're not going to sit here and act like things don't suck, right? And so sometimes that's interpreted as being held back, right? But sometimes it can be a redirection, right? Sometimes it can just be a healing opportunity, right? But life is always moving. The only thing that we know is that change is constant. Nothing is stuck and nothing is stagnant. And typically, when we feel like we're being held back, we're stuck, maybe we're in a state of limbo, we don't know where to go, what's next. But when we're in a period where things feel still, it's simply because we stopped moving. And sometimes what we have to do is not assign that experience any more than what it actually is, other than the experience of not moving. We just stopped moving. And sometimes it's because we're confused. Sometimes we just need a bit of a moment. Sometimes we need to heal, right? It's okay that we stopped moving, but sometimes being stuck isn't really stuck. Sometimes it's not in limbo. Sometimes we just stop moving. And like, that's okay. And we can feel it because life is always moving. But when we're ready to get back up and brush ourselves off, then that's what we do. We get back up and we brush ourselves off, and then we keep it moving. Stephanie, going to bed. Good night, Stephanie. Good luck, everyone. I hope to one day see y'all doing what you love. Oh, I love that. Good night, Stephanie. You stopped moving. That's okay. That's all. That's all that happened. You just stopped moving, And when you're ready to move, you'll move, because that's what happens. Think about the amount of animals that hibernate. They just stop moving. They're not stuck, There's no limbo. Life didn't hold them back. They just stopped moving for a little bit, and that's okay. So as you guys are doing this, working through this, because I don't want to keep you guys here all night, right? there's a few things just to remember along the way, right? So as you're doing this, you want to surrender some ideas that you have, some belief systems that you have, right? You want to surrender to the idea of wonder and awe, because wonder and awe lives in the child, right? It's not really sitting in the adult. Surrender to the idea of being in awe and being of wonder. Allow yourself to feel in awe and feel in wonder of things. Allow yourself to embrace that feeling as a kid, and allow yourself to ask yourself, what do I want to be when I grow up? Whenever you hit a moment where you're like, this isn't really working for me, right? You ask yourself, what do I want to be when I grow up? And also understand that everything has an order, right? Sometimes people like to call that divine timing, right? But everything has an order. And what I mean by this is there's a set of dominoes for everything. It takes one domino to knock the rest of them over. Just because you're waiting for your domino to fall over doesn't mean there's not a whole bunch of dominoes behind it getting ready to knock it over, right? It's just that everything has an order and your domino is in line. That's it. It doesn't mean anything deeper than that. You don't have to assign it any additional meaning. It doesn't mean that things aren't happening for you. Things aren't going to work out for you. Things aren't meant to be for you. It just means that there is an order and your domino is ready to be hit. And it doesn't have to mean anything more than that. And remember what happens when you plant a seed. For those of my people that love to garden, I find that when gardening, there's like this period after I like plant a seed where like I'm just obsessed. I'm so obsessed over this new plant, right? I'm checking it all of the time. And like some seeds are fast, right? But some seeds like to take their time. And every day I'm checking the seed and I see nothing. And then I see nothing the next day and I see nothing the next day. And then I start to panic. Oh my God, did I do something wrong? Is the seed a dud? Does it have enough sun? Did I give enough water? Oh my God, I'm a bad plant mom. Should I do it again? Should I dig it up? Should I check on it? Like, what's wrong with this seed, right? And then like you go, all right, well, maybe I just leave it alone. Maybe it's not going to grow. You walk away, you come back the next morning and it's a whole fucking tree, right? Like, remember what's happening to the seed, all of the roots, all of the systems that it's building underneath the soil. Everything that's actually taking place underneath the soil. And then when it pops out, it pops. Because when a plant grows, it grows fast. You just have to allow it to take root first, right? So when it grows, it's not tipping over, right? So just remember that that's all that's happening. There's not a greater meaning. It doesn't mean that it's not meant to be. It just means that it's taking root. And this exercise is you planting a seed. This exercise, being asked, what do you want to be when you grow up, is the seed. And so your job is simply to nurture it, water it, let it get some sun, right? But give it the opportunity to form some roots. Let it form a root first, right? Don't go and then try to dig it back up 1 week from today and like nothing is happening. Let it grow some roots so it can sprout, so it can actually grow, so it can have a solid foundation. So when the wind blows in the future, it doesn't tumble over. And then you're sitting there trying to figure out how to replant it, or did it die? Did I need to just let it grow some roots. Just let it grow some roots. And then understand that it's going to sprout. Why? Because miracles are a thing. A lot of you can accept Jesus walked on water, but like, you can't go to Bali on an all expensive paid vacation. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little extreme. You know what I mean? Nina says, very good points to think on. I appreciate you. I stopped moving. Oh, I already read that one. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you too. MKS, I change what I want to do every other week. Spirit be like, just pick something, anything, please. Christina says, I have never had that plane experience, but I can imagine what you're saying. Yes, you are invested. Suddenly you are like a plant mother. Once you plant that seed, something happens where it's, I don't know, at least for me, it's very much a feeling of like, I'm really in tune to the fact that it's life. And it's something I'm suddenly so invested in, like this life, this, I don't know, like this vessel of consciousness. It becomes a real spiritual experience for me. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap. I'm going to leave you with there. And I do want to leave you really quick just with like a food for thought as you're going through this, right? Because I feel like some people are going to be like, but how? You're going to be like, great, I have a better idea, but I just feel like this question of like how it's going to pop up. Something of it feels like there's a feeling of like needing money or like needing resources or like how do I get something off the ground, right? Just remember, you don't need to run on your own resources. Rich people don't run on their own resources. Hmm? I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. Okay, guys? And with that, I'm gonna send you all to bed and I'm gonna bid you adieu. And I will see you when I see you guys. Bye, guys. Good night. Love ya.